We've all watched Avatar: The Last Airbender and felt the tension, the pressure, and those hard-earned victories. But have you ever really sat back and thought, what if Aang and his friends didn't win?
No.
What if the Fire Nation succeeded and Fire Lord Ozai ruled the world?
How dare you occupy Earth Kingdom territory?
What would life be like across the four nations? And how would that victory shape not just the present, but generations to come? Before we fire on, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more Avatar content every week.
It's time for this world to end in fire, and for a new world to be born from the ashes.
To understand what could have been, we need to rewind and picture the state of the world leading up to the end of the war. It's important to remember that by the time Aang emerged from the iceberg, the Fire Nation already held significant power. Sozin's first strike had wiped out the air nomads, a move Ozai would later call his grandfather's proudest legacy. With the Southern Water Tribe reduced to a scattered, struggling village and the Northern Water Tribe barely hanging on, the Fire Nation was poised to crush any remaining opposition.
What is that?
A Fire Navy ship. And a very bad memory for my people.
So, let's take a closer look at the Earth Kingdom. Ozai was determined to go through with his plan to burn it down anyways, which would definitely result to another mass genocide. Even after the comet's power fades, the fires it fueled would spread rapidly. Sure, some Earthbenders might dig tunnels to survive, and I imagine the White Lotus and the gang will be scrambling to gather survival supplies. But in the end, almost everyone will be wiped out, including Fire Nation colonials in places like Udao.
Whoa. That's a lot of fire, isn't it?
And it's not just the people who will suffer. The fires won't just kill, they will be catastrophic for the environment. Forests will be turned to ash, rivers and lakes will become polluted, and the Earth Kingdom's once rich soil will be left barren. Many native species will be pushed to extinction. Even after the flames die down, the toxic air will linger, making the land almost impossible to live in. This kind of devastation will take years, maybe even centuries to heal. So there won't be any new world rising from the ashes, just a charred wasteland on apocalyptic levels. It makes you realize how effed up Ozai really is. Like, how you gonna rule what is destroyed? Make it make sense.
It's like these people are born bad.
King Bumi's city, full of his peculiar signatures, will be stripped of its individuality and turned into a lifeless hub for Fire Nation manufacturing.
I know the war has spread far, but Omashu always seemed untouchable.
What will this mean for the common people? Earthbenders will be forced into hard labor, mining and working in factories to keep the war machine running. Now, think about Ba Sing Se, the once impenetrable city that crumbled under Azula's invasion. This time, it will remain under permanent Fire Nation control, with metal fortresses and soldiers stationed at every corner. The once reassuring walls will be marked with the Fire Nation's emblem, just like Sozin's initial conquest of Earth Kingdom territory. The Dai Li, who had betrayed for power before, will now serve Ozai, crushing rebellions before they can take shape. But the Earth Kingdom won't go down quietly. Rebellions will spring up like wildfire, pun intended. From farmers refusing to work for their conquerors, to underground movements led by individuals like Toph Bei Fong, who has always fought for her own independence. These acts of defiance will send shockwaves through the oppressed population, but the Fire Nation will respond even more harshly. There will be brutal laws and severe crackdowns, led by a ruthless and unstable commander, Azula.
Anyone who harbors these traitors will face the wrath of the Fire Lord. There will be no place left to hide.
With the Earth Kingdom in ruins, the Northern Water Tribe would be the last power left. The Southern Water Tribe, already crippled from the raids over the decades, would become another colony. The Northern Water Tribe, struggling from its failed siege defense, will face the Fire Nation's push to erase its traditions. Blues will be replaced by the red of domination, and Benders would be forced to join the Fire Nation or stripped of their bending rights. As for Katara and Sokka, they will likely be captured. Sokka will probably be imprisoned, while Katara will face a much darker fate. She will be forced to use her blood bending for the Fire Nation, her abilities turned into a weapon to crush rebellions. With her brother in jail, he will be used as leverage to keep Katara obedient.
Stop! Please!
Under Ozai's rule, the world will change dramatically. Education, language, and culture will be rewritten to match the Fire Nation's version of history. Schools would teach that the air nomads were anarchists who refused to be part of a unified world, and that the Fire Nation's conquest was a necessary step towards civilization.
I don't know how you could possibly know more than our national history book. unless you were there 100 years ago.
Statues of Ozai will stand in every square, and stories of spirits and balance will be twisted to glorify fire bending. And Zuko? In this world without redemption, he will remain trapped in his father's shadow, torn between proving himself and questioning the morality of their conquest. He would never find the courage to challenge Ozai, remaining stuck in an endless internal struggle. But we can't forget about Azula. Her role under Ozai's rule will be that of an enforcer, mercilessly keeping order across the colonies. And when Ozai's time ends, Azula will take over. But this might backfire for the Fire Nation. With her paranoia and instability, the first officers bringing bad news will be exiled or killed. Eventually, she will only be told what she wants to hear, leading her to command based on flawed information. There might even be a rebellion against Fire Lady Azula, something like the Han Dynasty Rebellion, possibly supported by the Northern Water Tribe in exchange for peace from a new Fire Lord.
The Daily would never betray you.
And I'm sure that's just what you told Long Feng before you turned against him and joined me. You're all banished!
You might be wondering, what about Aang? Good question. You see, in this reality, Aang's last stand will end in defeat. Maybe during the failed day of Black Sun invasion, where Ozai finishes what Sozin started, ending the Avatar. With Aang gone, the world will lose its spiritual anchor. The Avatar cycle could fall into chaos or be disrupted, with the next Avatar hidden away or never discovered. His loss won't just be symbolic, it will be a generational tragedy.
You're weak, just like the rest of your people. They did not deserve to exist in this world, in my world.
We've talked about how humanity will unravel, but what about the spirits? First, the balance of the world will collapse. Without the air nomads' teachings of peace, everything will become colder and disconnected. The spirit world will mirror this change, with once peaceful spirits becoming vengeful. Spirits like Ko the Face Stealer will likely grow bolder, crossing into the human world more often. The moon and ocean spirits, scarred by the Fire Nation, might withdraw, weakening waterbenders even further. Imagine Yue, watching helplessly as her people suffer. If we consider the timeline extending decades into the future, an era like harmonic convergence will play out differently. The Fire Nation's actions could unleash dark spirits, or bring Vatu's influence sooner, creating a world haunted by shadows and chaos. Will there ever be a chance for change? Maybe. Maybe hope will come from an unexpected place, perhaps a non-bender. There's a lot to think about, right? You know, it's scary to think how close this world came to being real.
I was gone, but you brought me back.
I just used the spirit water from the North Pole. I don't know what I did exactly.
You saved me.
You need to rest.
Aang's strength, the courage of his friends, and the resilience of the people show just how fragile peace can be, and how much we depend on a few brave souls to protect it.
Fighting the Fire Lord is gonna be the hardest thing we've ever done together. But I wouldn't want to do it any other way.
Yeah.
All right.
If you made it this far, thanks for staying with me through this alternate history. Share your thoughts on what life would look like if the Fire Nation had won. And don't forget to like, subscribe for more Avatar discussions, and drop your own what-if ideas in the comments. This is Mind Bursters. Until next time, stay geeky.
Wow, camping. It really seems like old times again, doesn't it?
If you really wanted to feel like old times, I could, chase you around a while and try to capture you.